Introduce yourself to the people.
So, guys, I'm Bobby Buckets, former professional 2K League player for the Pacers gaming team.
That's good. Let's see. Oh, I haven't formally introduced myself to you. I am Grizz. We're in the same clan, 4L. I'm the manager. I was lead content creator, but I stepped down. And yeah. So, first question. What was your favorite part about being in the 2K League?
I would say my favorite part is just kind of the competitiveness of the league. Just knowing, no matter what team you're playing, it's good. It's the best players in the world on every team. So there's really no games off where you're like, okay, like this team's not good, stuff like that. So just kind of like competitive in me is cool. Knowing you got to bring it every game of the week.
Okay, that's what's up. What was the hardest level like? Who was the hardest team you had to play?
And specifically, the game I played was definitely the Raptors. That was, I didn't play in every game during the year, so I came in as a six man. But one of the games I did play was against the Raptors, and I mean, obviously they went 16-0 during the regular season. So I would definitely say they were the best team. Obviously, they had the MVP, Kenny, timely, best block in the league, stuff like that. So.
Okay, I feel you. So let me see, cause I don't got no questions written down. I'm freehanding it right now. So, it's,
Oh, this one? Oh, that video,
huh? Let's see. I've seen during the off season you've been taking content creating pretty seriously. You've been making a lot of build videos. Some people call you Bobby Builds. You feel me? And I was just wondering, do you see a future in YouTube? Like, do you plan to take it seriously? Um, what can we expect?
Yeah, I definitely plan on keep trying to build my YouTube and content wise, and also I want to try Twitch as well. Um, just pretty much my time in Indiana with the Pacers, they got the best YouTube out of all the league teams and stuff. So that's where I kind of learned about different things, how to build on YouTube and stuff like that. So for me, I just want to be able to take what I learned and kind of being able to make a career, just not playing in the league, but also in the off season when it comes to content.
I feel you. Let's see. How do you feel about 2K21 next gen? I know you're banned on Xbox, but let me know your experience so far.
Yeah, I love the next gen game. To be honest, I know a lot of people have been complaining about it, but I just like the fact that any position on the court can really take over a game and have an impact. We've seen before, especially in the league. Like a four build can't finish in the rim. It's like a 6'10" and can't finish or dunk really. So now this one, all the builds are overpowered, so you can have really good players at every position that can just take over, which I think will be good for the league compared to before the league is really a point guard center league where your point guard and center scoring all the points. So now it'd be cool to see, some of the greats at different positions, whether it being a power forward or a shooting guard, a lock that's just able to really dominate and show, playing at elite level offensively and defensively compared to just defensively most of the time.
Do you think this is gonna be balanced throughout the league? Like, do you feel like this through tourneys and everything that's coming up? Do you feel like with this build system that it's going to be even matched? Like,
Yeah, I think it helps some just because, for some teams that might not have, there's only so many elite point guards in the league. And there's a lot more elite players in general than just elite point guards. So, for teams that might not have the best point guard in the league or something like that, someone like you could have a power forward or lock that just can able to take over the game, and that brings more balance for those teams that don't necessarily have that point guard that just carries them every game.
okay. That's interesting to think about, cause it seems like everybody's a 2K15 demigod, but if everybody's overpowered, maybe it can be balanced in some way. Like that, maybe that is a balance. Everybody being broken. But wait, do y'all get to pick y'all's own build? Pick y'all.
I know the league had talked about it. Kind of, I'm assuming they knew about the new builder, so they kind of, talk about trying to have where people, players in the league make their own players, which I think would be good, just because it's not the same thing every game where you're watching the same people on the same builds. And obviously, the 2K league is a copycat league where they see one person do something and they try to copy it because they think that's the one thing that works. I feel like with this, you really don't have to copy as much. You can kind of make your player how it fits for you and how you want to play, which I think is perfect, especially when it comes to the league. Obviously, they'll probably, maybe lower the overall sum and maybe ban some badges and stuff like that. But overall, I think it's good for the league because you want to, hear about, so-and-so uses this build at the 4 compared to so-and-so uses this build at the 4, and they're both these players. They just have different styles of play.
Okay, so early predictions. What badges do you think are gonna be banned? What badges seem overpowered to you?
As of right now, I think. I know Showtime. Not Showtime. Like Hard Crusher was banned on current gen leagues and stuff like that. So maybe that probably stays banned. But I don't know if it was banned like the Heat Seeker, or a highlight film, because those are like the same type of badges just for offense. But if that's the case, I feel like they should just unban Hard Crusher and make that a thing, because they're really opposites of each other. And if one's banned, I think the other should be banned, or none of them banned.
Has Heart Crusher always been overpowered? Because I just started hearing about it during 21 current gen, and I never heard people complain about it on 20.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I think they just up, like, from what 2K said, it seemed like they took some badges that people didn't really use and kind of upped them. So I'm assuming the takeover reduction or whatever, they probably upped it for 21. I'm assuming because people didn't really use it in 20.
Okay. I feel like that's what they did with Showtime too, because it was incredibly broken.
They upped both of them probably.
Let's see. Have you played tourneys on both consoles? That's the first question.
On current gen?
Yeah, on current gen.
Current gen, I mainly was just playing Xbox, but I played a few tourneys in the WR season on PS4. So.
What console do you think has harder level competition?
To me, it's hard for me to say. I feel like I haven't played PlayStation enough yet to really make a determination on that. I know PlayStation has more teams, it seems like. So it's hard to say, but next year I'm playing both. So I could probably, after a couple months after playing, I could probably give you a better answer.
Okay. Who was? Damn, Hammy, I'm trying to fucking record, bitch. Dumb Arab. Fuck out of the court, bitch. Fuck you, Hammy, bitch. God damn. Damn that nigga. I'm keeping that in the video too. Let's see. Fuck. Oh, what point guard was the hardest guard? What was the hardest guard you've played against? Like, he was just giving you mad buckets. Like,
in general, probably there's a lot of good ones. In the league, probably was, I would say, Fab, just because when we played them, he just killed our. I don't think we had the best game plan when we played them, because that was after our whole Nets thing. But he killed our game plan. He was picking us apart. So I think he's one of the good ones. much. And when I played him in retail, he was just really good defensively too, where he was making an impact defensively. And that was in 20. So I'll say Fab, but I played against other good ones. You know, JVM is really good. Bear, Mama. I mean, there's a lot of good, really good guards.
Okay. Let's see. Who is the worst guard you've played against? This is where we get spicy.
Worst guard? I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm not gonna do anything way pretty like that.
Come on. Just. Okay. I'll tell you the worst guard, Benzo. He is horrible. Oh man, that kid sucks. Oh, he's garbage. I ain't gonna lie. But let's see. Who in 4L do you think is gonna be drafted first? First one drafted.
That's a tough one. I think there will be a few. I think there'll be a few that are drafted. I think this will be good. But the first one off the board, I'm gonna say. I might have to say Doug to the Hornets.
Okay. Wait, that's a power forward, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he is mad tough. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, I don't know what pick they have. I don't know what pick they have. But another one, Bucket. You know, he could come off the board early to a team that's a good guard.
Oh, Bucket's insane.
If he doesn't go on the top, yeah. But at the same time, you know, I think he'll definitely get drafted. But if he doesn't go to one of those teams that's the point guard, then he might get drafted later, just because teams know that there's not that many teams that need point guards. So, but he could easily go top 10. But a safe one, it does.
Okay. What is the most overrated team you've played in like tourneys? Not no league teams.
Oh, overrated. I would say. I'm gonna say. I mean, it depends. I would say shooters touch, but it depends on like who they had. Cause when they had Sick, I think Sick, was carrying them. But when we played them without Sick, they were struggling. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh. Okay.
And that was the series. That was the whole Booty series and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Where they was accusing Lux. Was it Lux who was being accused of booting?
Yeah, it was Lux.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. I'm gonna keep this in the video too. Lux, you my mans, but you used to be a big time booter. I can see why they thought that. Even if you innocent, you was a booter in stage. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, man. But everybody can change. I don't know. I don't even know how good he is at Pro-Am. I just know that he's changed a little bit. He don't play stage no more. So, let's see. Who's the most versatile player you've ever played against?
Straight versatile?
Yeah. Or played with too.
One, I would say Joe Martin, my teammate out of the Pacers. I mean, obviously he went on my team and stuff. But I mean, he started the year for us at the 4. He was probably a top 4 in the league. And then, we moved him to center. He was, playing really well at center. Then he played, we even put him at point guard at one point, and he had like 40 on the Raptors in the game. Like he was able to play it. And then obviously in the league, he played sharp before. He played block retail, so I think he's able to play every position. He had success playing everything, and won my team. So I think that shows versatility.
Okay, for sure. Ooh, what is your opinion Mamba never passing the ball. Mamba the one in 4L.
But I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't watch. I don't watch them. I know I watched them when they won the tournament. I forget what tournament they won, but they're hooping. I don't know. I don't watch them.
Okay. Well, Mamba, if you're watching this video, pass the fucking ball more, bro. You don't pass the ball in stage, pro-am. You need to. I see why you lead everything in fucking points per game, bro. You just don't know how to pass. In fact, nah, Mamba, I know you're Noti gang. Pass the ball, bro. Pass. Once or twice a game. Damn. Let's see. Oh, what is your thoughts on making teams play West servers against teams like Straight Ice? Like,
To be honest, I mean, I'm from the West, and like I play always play East and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's not that big of a deal, to be honest. Like, I get a big deal about playing West, but I think it's a fine rule. Like, I don't see the problem. The whole West team, like, why do they have to play at a disadvantage all the time? And I see teams come about losing to Straight Ice. They'll be like, oh yeah, that West server, blah blah blah. But then they would, like, in that series they had lost the game on their own server or something like that. So like, how does that even make sense? Like, you didn't win. It's not like you won all your games on your server and lost all the ones on the other one. Like, I see people complaining when they lost on their own server. Like, that's just don't make sense.
yeah, nah, I never understood it either. I'm not gonna lie. But Straight Ice be hooping. Like, they hoop on both servers. Like, I don't.
I seen them one. They beat someone. It was a really good team too. And they're like, yeah, they're like GG, but man, that West server is something different. Blah blah blah. But I'm like, in that series, it was like a 3-1, and like they won on East servers. Like, it wasn't like they only won on West servers.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I just don't understand that. Like, there shouldn't be no excuses if they.
Load up and play the game.
Right. Let's see. You play the 4, right?
That's my main position. But so my debut in the league, I actually played Sharpshooter. Or my first debut, I played on the post 4 at the 4. That was for one game because we were pretty much already eliminated. And then my first actual game, I played Sharp, which I never played before the league. And then then I moved to center for a couple games, and then I played power forward for a game, and then in the tournament I also played power forward. So I played 3 in the league, but my main positions I feel like are lock and power forward. I would say those are my 2 main positions.
Okay. Who do you think is the best at your positions? Well, positions, both lock and power forward. League, no league.
I would say at lock is definitely Timely and Crush. I think that's undisputed. I would say Awkward's up there too. Awkward's a really good lock too. But I think those are for sure the top 3. And I had played with Crush before in like a tournament. And just, this was before he was really big too. And I just like, me and him clicked. I could just tell like his passion and just the way he communicated was really good compared to the other locks that I played with. And I was playing center with him in this tournament, and he would just straight up tell me how he wants me to guard every time and stuff. And like, that's not how a lot of people play lock. A lot of people, there's locks that don't talk and stuff like that. So I think that's what separates him a lot. And then power forward, that's tough. That's tough. The best power forwards in the league last year, I mean, one of them I would say Bugs. He was really good scoring, especially at the beginning of the year. But I mean, obviously, it'll be cool to see this year now with the different builds. But because once people start figuring out how to stop them in the Hornets, he just got a lot of touch. But at first, it was hard to guard. But like, other than that, I would say Idris is a really good power forward. I think he's more like an underrated power forward that don't really get talked about. But he was hooping for the Bucks. He was really good at the 4-4. say because I think it's a lot defense. Like, there's a lot of really good ones. I'll say that.
What separates
Even Lab on the Blazers was really good when it's in four.
wait,
So
who
the what?
what separates a good and a great power forward?
Mike's messing up.
Oh, my mic's messing up. What separates a good and a great power forward?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
Wait, you can't hear me? Hello? Hello? Hold
No,
on.
I can now. I can
Okay.
now.
What separates a good and a great lock? I mean, not lock. Power forward.
Power forward.
Yeah.
I would think the main thing is just knowing when to drop and when not to drop defensively, and I also think just being able to make plays, also like pinching and stuff like that. And then another thing, I think offensively, I think just being an elite passer and knowing when to try to make plays and when not to. You know, because a lot of times now it's going to be different because now everyone make plays and your fields are going to be able to make plays. But before, it's like you're most likely on a field that's not quite able to make plays like other fields, so you can't always try to. That's where you have to be able to pass, make reads, and then also just know when to try to score or when not to.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. What is one regret you had throughout the season last year? Like your biggest regret?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think for me, honestly, just kind of not, just probably being more like vocal and kind of more of a leader. Kind of what I mean by that. Obviously, I came in as a six man, so like, you know, coming in as a six man is tough because like you're not thinking you're coming in and like, yo, like this is my team, blah 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 blah. You know, being super vocal, and I was vocal, but like I think there was times where I could have been more like demanding, whether it's like, yo, like we gotta watch more film as a team and stuff like that, or like just reaching out more, like, yo, like we gotta do this, whatever. Because I felt like at times I kind of just looked at it like, okay, like, you know, I'm not the one making decisions, and kind of, you know, sometimes I felt like, you know, maybe we weren't the most prepared and stuff like that. And maybe if I'm like, yo, like let's all like we gotta watch film. Let's all watch film. Like we're watching film at like 5, like straight demanding everyone, making everyone do it. Maybe that could have helped, and maybe, you know, our season could have been better. Because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of the film stuff or stuff like that, I kind of did. Me or one or two of the players would do it, but not as a team. So I think just being like more demanding, maybe more vocal, outspoken, you know, I think would have helped in that situation because, you know, some teams, you know, don't always need that person because there's something that already does that, but I feel like we could use it.
Okay. Let's see. Who is the best leader you've played with? Like they're communicating to you, doing everything a leader should be doing.
Yeah. I would go back to what I said earlier. Crush. I think Crush. You know, that's what he's really good at. Being vocal. You know, usually in a positive way too. He's not like, you know, someone who's just yelling like a dictatorship or anything like that. So he was one of my favorites to play with. Another one, Cuban. I think Cuban's a really good leader to play with. Especially at point guard. That's kind of someone that, you know, a lot of people don't know about. Especially with all, you know, now there's a lot of PGs that, you know, you worry about personality or what their leadership is. That's what I definitely give Cuban credit. He's a great leader at PG.
Okay. Give us a rundown like of like a normal day in the 2K league. Like what do you do? Like what goes on throughout your day?
Yeah. So it kind of depends. A practice day, usually, you know, we either, for us, we'd either get up probably around either like 10 or 11 sometimes, or sometimes 12, depending on if we have a sprint, or depending on if we're doing content or not. And sometimes we'll get in a Zoom. This is obviously after the COVID stuff, but we'd be in a Zoom and we would either do like a content, a YouTube video or something, or we'll talk about like what maybe going over the last game, maybe watching some film or a scrim. And usually that's like an hour or two, and then we'd have two swim blocks. Most days it was two, so usually it'd be like 12 to 2 and 2 to 4, or it would be 2 to 4 and 4 to 6 or something like that. And then after that, usually is kind of we have the rest of the day off, but it kind of depends. If there was league games that night, we some of us would watch the league games or we go over film. And then game days obviously are different. Usually game days we have a morning scrim, or we would watch film or go over our game plan, stuff like that. And usually we went to the practice facility early, and then also had another like warm up with the league or morning scrim. And then after that, it's pretty much just game planning, watching film, getting shots up and stuff like that before we play that game at night, usually at 7 or 9.
Okay. What's the most fun part about being in the league?
To be honest, I think the most fun part I didn't get to experience because of COVID. Like, I think playing on the stage is like, to me, would be the most fun part. I think traveling would be fun. I did that in college with the basketball team. That was really fun. So I'd be cool in the league. But outside of that, not being able to experience that, I would just say the game day, just like energy in the room. Everyone's getting hyped when you're going on a run in the game, stuff like that. It's just like, just a lot of emotions going, which can be the worst part too if you end up losing games, stuff like that. But I would say game days are definitely the most fun part that I got to experience.
Let's see. What is the biggest problem with the 2K League, in your opinion?
I think the biggest problem is, I think right now, just as a league as a whole, I think like getting viewership is tough because of, I think the game needs to be implemented in 2K more, which is starting to be more. Like you see a lot of like on 2K TV, they're talking about it. Now you got 2K League gear and you can wear 2K League gear and like the park and stuff, which I think that stuff's good. Just kind of give more recognition. But I think that's as a league standpoint, that's kind of just for views. I think another problem is like teams and players just kind of not. Obviously, people saying buddy and stuff like that, which I think is somewhat true. But I think at the end of the day, it's like connections, which I think can be a good thing and a bad thing. But I think the problem is sometimes that doesn't give a lot of opportunity to some other players that might be better skill wise or could help teams, but teams are more going with what they're comfortable with or connections, and I think that can hurt the league in the long run, and the teams in general. We've seen sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I think that's where you got to hold people accountable and can't just okay, we're boys, so I'm gonna keep you on my team every year or stuff like that, because eventually once you start losing, that stuff's gonna break up. We've seen that in the league, how teams start breaking up, and then it makes the organizations look bad because they're like, well, we're doing whatever this man says, but now we're not winning, so now we got to move on because we want to start winning. So I think eventually it'll start breaking up from that, but I think it's something you always see, and that's just something you see in life too. The connections is a big part of life, and that's how a lot of people get their jobs and stuff like that, compared to just being skilled at whatever it is.
How big of a problem do you think it is? Like, how many teams are there, and how often do you see it?
I honestly wouldn't say it's that big of a problem, because I think most of the elite players are already in the league. Right. So I think the league's done a pretty good job at getting the most elite players in the league. But I think it's definitely can be a problem just because it's sometimes there's other players that might be better, but it might not be by like a landslide. I think that's where you see that. And like how many teams in the league? Probably like some of them, even though they're like their connection picks, I think some of them are good, and they work out. You know what I mean? So it's not like super bad, but like you see teams that it doesn't work out for as well. So it's kind of like sometimes it's not bad, sometimes it is bad. But almost by every team does it, but not like I said, not all of them are bad in a sense.
Okay. Um, when did you get into competitive 2K?
I didn't get into it until 2K19. Pretty much how my journey was, I always played 2K for fun and stuff, and I had never known that there was competitive leagues or anything like that. And then I tried out for the combine, season one. I didn't make it, and then I started following the league, and they're talking about so and so plays on this prime team, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, what? So that was in 2K18. So and I'm like in 2K19, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get in this. Like I'm gonna try to go for this league. I'm gonna start playing in these competitive leagues and stuff like that. So 2K19, I made a free agent post. I'm trying to join, and I started on the lower team and kind of just kept working my way up. And then I made the draft pool that year. Even though it was my first year playing competitive, I actually made it through the combine and made the draft pool. Went out to New York for the draft and all that, and then at that point, I just kept trying to work my way up in the competitive scene, and then obviously it ended up working.
I feel you. Let me see. Oh, how do you feel about these league tourneys being implemented? How do you feel like? Do you feel like that's a fair way of securing your spot?
I think it's definitely. I think honestly, I think it's the best way because now you're getting all the top talent in the league tournaments to get in the draft pool. So now I think it takes away any excuse for why someone might not be in the draft pool because they can't make it to the combine. Which I will say, I think if you're an elite player, you should be able to make it through the combine. Obviously, there's good players that don't make it through the combine, but I wouldn't say those are probably elite players.
Right.
Because I think if you're that elite, you'll make it through. And I think that's how you already got most of the elite players in the league, so it's not like those elite players had any problems getting through the combine. But at the same time, obviously some good players get left out. So I think with the league, it's really good. I think the only problem, there will be some people that might be better than people think and then can't get on a team. But with how many league tournaments there are, I think eventually if you're that elite, you'll be able to win one of the later ones anyways. And I think it'll be really cool to see how they do the combine this year with, everyone in the draft pool and then obviously the unretained, because it'll be able to be, the combine will be super competitive and it'll be good for scouting purposes to see, so-and-so can't get carried by their point guard anymore because the combine is all draft pool players. So that'll be cool to see.
Okay. I don't know if I have any more questions. Is there any last things you want to say to the video?
I just say, appreciate you taking the time to interview me. I know you reached out. I think it's cool. I think, doing big things, trying to do this content, build things the same way. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for coming and answering. Y'all go subscribe to his YouTube channel. I'll put it in the description. He makes dope content. Definitely would check him out. And